Hey, hello, and welcome back again. Hey, we've got another exciting cooking show for you this week. This week, we're talking more with meat. We've got a great recipe that you just kind of start it, let it do itself, and then voila, you can use it for multiple kinds of meals. So we're going to give you a show on how that works. So stay tuned. We're starting right now. Surprise, it's me again. Yep, this week I'm going to show you how to do some pork butt roast in the crock pot. We're going to make some pulled pork. Today we're going to use it for tacos, but you could use this same pulled pork for sliders, pulled pork sandwiches, barbecue sandwiches. You can use it for just on a plate with some mashed potatoes and gravy. I mean, it's a great starter for about 5 or 6 different kinds of meals. So come with me and I'll show you what we're doing. No, come on, don't be afraid. It's okay, I swear. Yeah, come on, let's do it. So we're going to start again with all the dry ingredients. Today we're going to be using some Himalayan pink salt. I like the big granules. We grind that in there. It makes it stick a little more to the meat. And we have the garlic salt, our favorite yummy thing. Going to be using some white pepper. White pepper helps in a longer cook. It's more mild. Still has all the pepper flavor, but not that sharp black pepper flavor. Our ground cumin, our favorite. We love to run that stuff. Some turmeric, like I said before, nice deep flavor. Smoked paprika gives us that nice smoky flavor. And we're going to be using a bunch of basil this time because it's kind of Hispanic. Our flavor, the basil, does really good on a long cook. You can put cilantro in or something like that. It doesn't work very well. You can put it in later as a fresh thing. And then some tahini as our secret ingredient. It's got a little bit of lemon in it, nice citrus flavor, and a little bit of spice. So you notice once again we're starting here with our bowl full of rub. You can see all the spices and things have been blended together. It was about 2 tablespoons of each thing we put in there to kind of make this pile. And then in the background we have our pork butt roast, a nice big shoulder roast if you like. Nice marbling. You want to get marbling in there. That fat's going to kind of melt into this and make a nice juicy broth kind of aspect to it. This thing is probably almost 5 pounds. It's 4.5 pounds, this one. A little bit bigger than I had anticipated, but when you're buying things with COVID and somebody else is getting your stuff, sometimes you can't always pick exactly what you want. So we're going to sprinkle the dry rub on there. Once again, going to rub it in. Notice I got it in a big bowl. It just kind of keeps it from going all over the place. We're going to cover this entire roast with this rub. So, by the way, I mentioned 2 tablespoons of each thing, except for the tahini. There's just a little sprinkle of that in there. You want to kind of get a good rub in there to all the little nooks and crannies, all the little joints. Flip it around a little bit. Get the sides, get the back. Anywhere where there's some meat exposed, you want it to be covered in this. You're making like a big giant crumb donut out of this thing. Yeah, you can see that it's all coated all the way around, nicely coated. And we're going to drop it into our crock pot. That's just going straight in there. Notice we're not putting any liquid in there. This thing will juice out, and there'll be plenty of liquid in there on its own. It'll melt a lot of that fat, and a lot of things will just come right out of there. So we don't need to put liquid in there with it at all. Okay, so we got them in there. We're going to drop the lid on there, and then we're going to come down here. We're going to set this thing, turn on, and set it on high, so that from low we're going to put it over to high, and then we're going to set it for an hour to start off. We're going to cook for an hour on high. Gets everything sort of heated up, gets it going. Then we're going to put it in there for another 5 hours on low. We'll change it over to low so it does that slow cook, which makes it so juicy and so tender and so just delectable. And once you got that going, there's nothing much else to do with this for a while. So now we made a lot more rub than we're actually going to use. And so we're going to take the rub, not the rub that was already on the meat. This is the rub that we didn't sprinkle on the meat. So it's fresh, nothing's been tainted. We're going to put it away in a little jar, and we can use this for all kinds of stuff. I sprinkle it on chicken I'm going to grill. You can put it on baked potatoes, or you can make scalloped potatoes, sprinkle it on there and fry them up that way. Put it on some shrimp you're cooking, or I mean all kinds of things. It's a great little spice that you can add to all kinds of different things, and you made it yourself. It's a good thing. So you can see that it's been about an hour. It's starting to sweat a little bit in there. Some little droplets are forming. So we're going to turn it down to low now, and then we're going to let it go for about another 4 hours, and then we'll check it again then and see where we're at. So 4 hours is up. We're going to open this thing up and check it out, and it's done. Slight confession, I forgot to turn it down to low. When I told you I was going to turn it down to low, I got sidetracked. But, you know, it cooked on high the entire time, but the meat's pretty forgiving. It'll work pretty well that way, too. You really want to try to get the temperature somewhere between 165, 175. That's when the meat is nice and juicy and tender. It's going to go over 180 here, I'm sure. But the meat will still be nice and juicy and tender. The flavor is going to be fantastic. It smells wonderful. But it just means the meat's going to be a little firmer. So, and that's not a problem for tacos and things. That works out really well. If you're going to put this in a burrito with some refried beans, that meat's going to be just perfect for that. So you can see the juices in the back bubbling a little bit. But, yep, we're looking at this thing is ready to come out of here. So we're going to get them out there and get them shredded. So it's pretty big, so we're going to try to take them out in a couple pieces here. It's got to be careful he doesn't fall over the place sometimes when you take them out. So that's going in there. The bone just kind of drops right off. This little piece of bone that was in there. You can get these rolls totally with bone in or bone out. The bone just falls right out of it when you do that. And we'll try to see if we can get this big piece over there. So yeah, look at all that beautiful juice down there. A lot of people save that juice. You can save that juice for either mixing a little bit back in with the meat to juice it up a bit, or if you let it congeal, you can separate it out and then use it later for soups, stocks, or some other stuff. Okay, so you can see that we're shredding this out now. We're just going to start peeling apart some of this. You can see how just easy it comes apart here. Pulls apart easy, nice and juicy, tender, beautiful color. You want to get that little crunchy bit, the stuff with all the seasoning on it mixed in there real well with it. That nice darker area. It's going to work out really well. We're going to divide this out now. We're only going to shred up some of it for the tacos, and we'll save some of it for later for some other pulled pork sandwiches and things like that. We'll separate them out. But you can see there's a lot of meat going into this thing. This is just, oh boy, that really looks good. So we're shredding this up for tacos and burritos. So I like to shred it a little bit heavier, a little thicker, not so thin and stringy. It just kind of makes it easier to stack in the tacos and the burritos. Makes it for better eating. There's a lot of flavor in there. We're just making sure we're getting all the nice pieces in there. So, man, this is looking good. Okay, so now we're going to make some tacos here. We use different kinds of shells. We like the blue corn shells and the hard shells. Those have a nice flavor to them. We put in a lot of the yellow corn shells. Those are great too. And then always our favorite, the street tacos. Nice little tortillas there. And the meat just always sits so nice in there. They always look so good and so tasty. So we've got that going. We're going to drop in some onions. We're going to put in some tomatoes. And you can really put any kind of thing in there you like. Sometimes we put in like diced cucumber. That's really tasty in there. Cilantro, avocado. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can put in there. However you like your tacos, those are great. A little bit of cheese on top it off with. And then, of course, once you've got all the cheese in there and you're ready to go, then it's time for the salsa. And in our family, we really like the chile verde salsa, especially the one from Trader Joe's. It's got a great flavor to it. It looks so good in there. It mixes with the meat super well. We also use some picante sauce, salsa. That's always good for us. Anything you like. There's all kinds of things you can do to dress these things up. The base of the meat is what makes the treat. So there you have it. This recipe for pulled pork works really well with Mexican food. These tacos, or a burrito with refried beans, lettuce, tomato, and cheese, avocado, and a flour tortilla is great. You can turn it into pulled pork sandwiches, barbecue sandwiches, sliders. You can dice it up and put it in a plate with mashed potatoes and gravy. I mean, it's endless the amount of things you can do with this meat. It's just very versatile and very tasty. So you see, not too difficult, pretty easy to put together, and it can do a lot of different things. We made some tacos and they were yummy, but do it on anything you want. Make it for whatever you need. So, until we see you again next week, happy cooking.